Punchbowl Social came to us over a year ago with the idea that they would like to create some more interactive games in their restaurants. Specifically, they're interested in having a dart game that had more interactive software, kind of like everyone's come to know with bowling. So we were tasked with trying to figure out how could we do this for darts and is it feasible? So we've gone through a few phases of the project. The first phase was to do some research and talk to some experts in the field to see how we might tackle the problem of trying to capture where darts have landed on a dartboard. What we generally gathered was, we think it's possible. We think we can grab the placement of a dart on a dartboard, and generally that as long as the dartboard and the cameras aren't changing positions, we have a pretty fixed environment and there won't be too many variables that we can get it done. Through the different phases of this project, we went from doing some research to prototyping to building the real version for the pilot that got installed in Denver. During the different phases, we needed to start to kind of set up what one of these dart lounges might look like. Specifically, we needed to hang cameras at a very fixed space in front of the dartboard at a very specific angle. Our first prototype was PVC pipe. It's a real dartboard, regulation size with real steel tip darts. So we wanted to simulate the dartboard being hung at the official height, throwing darts from a certain point back, and making sure that the cameras are not in the way of someone who might be throwing the darts. From the PVC pipe, we moved into a little bit more of a sturdier type of fabrication. We were able to use clamps and mounts to actually hang the camera on top, which allowed for a sturdier rig. Since some of our issues were actually on the PVC pipe, the dartboard could move a little bit, which was actually causing some of the inaccuracies with our first prototype. When we set off to work on the pilot version of the Dart Lounge, Punchbowl Social was working on a fabrication for the dart board and the lights and the cameras that would go in their actual locations. So they shipped us out this big kind of prototype, first version of the fabrication for us to test out with and use in development. It got dropped off in front of our office here in San Francisco. It came pretty much assembled already into a few big pieces. So there's a bit of an issue, an effort to get it kind of inside the office. But we got it all assembled and we had a great kind of more stable, real version of the fabrication that Punchbowl Social would be putting into their locations for us to actually more accurately test and develop against. A lot of the Dart Lounge software is built on an event-driven architecture, and so we're using WebSockets between most of the applications. Since it's a game, we want real-time, snappy, quick communications. One of the major issues we found was that we want to make sure that when there's a dart on the dartboard that there's enough light coming from all directions, that there's no shadow on the dartboard, or else that could throw some of our computer vision algorithms off. So we have some really high production value lighting that is surrounding the dartboard from all sides inside of the fabrication. There's always going to be some shadow, but it's pretty undetectable. So we recently just went and launched the first version of these dart lounges at the Punchbowl Social in Denver. We were on site for about 3 days, working on installing 2 different dart lounges. We were setting up the software, the cameras, running a bunch of tests, making sure we're tweaking some of our algorithms so they work best at the Punchbowl Social location in Denver. Obviously there's a bunch of guests and patrons at Punchbowl Social. So we got to see pretty quickly a bunch of users actually try out the Dart Lounge, which felt really good for all of us, and we got to see some immediate user tests and feedback. It's been running now well out in the field. We've been seeing in analytics that people have been using it every day, which is super exciting. We're looking to actually make some tweaks and some changes now that we're getting some user feedback and it's out there, and hopefully push those out sometime soon.